So this module will cover success tidbits around business analytics. So this field is always evolving, and it has evolved more rapidly, more recently. But really, there's three main components that I feel are strong foundational components for success within business analytics. So the first one being technical expertise, and what we mean there is we want to develop our technical skills, right? Also, understanding business or having foundational knowledge within business and industry is important, and also ability to think critically and think about strategy, right? So strategic thinking is going to be important as well. So with respect to the sort of technical skills, I will say that there are a number of software out there that are now used, and it's interesting that you see, actually, I have Microsoft Excel there. Spreadsheets aren't going away, right? So whether or not we're using a spreadsheet, maybe within Google Sheets, which is a cloud-based option, or Connected Sheets, which actually has SQL underlying or sort of SQL supported. They are still a strong tool and are still widely used, right? So especially in sort of finance or other specific industries or sectors, they're still widely used. So that kind of goes along with the technical skills, is understanding this point. Python is very popular. It's open source and free. R as well. In fact, R is slightly more popular in sort of academia at this point. But SQL is important. Or sort of knowledge, sort of tool that you want to have knowledge of. So SQL or querying is going to be important to understand. And that's really when you're working with large data sets, and oftentimes when you think of SQL, you're basically running queries across different tables in a database, right? So when we think about other tools, when we get to sort of visualization and reporting, these are largely, just speaking on Tableau and Power BI, it's really kind of a no-code process, or should be limited code process when you get to this point. So you should really be uploading data that has already been processed or sort of structured, and there you can do your visualizations and reporting. The other two here to the right, Seaborn and Matplotlib, those are more coding based, right? So more coding based in Python. That would be more useful for sort of custom visualizations in data science workflows. Again, there's many other tools that are out there. These are some of the more popular ones that are used. Of course, there's another Magic Quadrant, right? I mentioned with BI that there would be one, and you can see Microsoft at the top there. Salesforce is Tableau, and obviously Google has Looker. So there are a number of competitors. In fact, this one here, Pyramid Analytics, they're they're kind of touting generative BI, where they have sort of a chat-based, or sort of emphasize chat or prompt-based analytics. So there are a number of options, and again, it's going to really depend on the use case and the organizational needs in terms of what the right option is. But at least you can kind of see the main players. Yeah. So what are some tips? Are that machine learning and AI are valuable to understand, even if it's not deeply technical, right? So maybe you don't necessarily understand the intricacies of a specific algorithm, but you understand how to evaluate the results, evaluate the accuracy, and how it fits within a business problem. With business acumen, you want to understand important metrics and often specific to certain industries. So I mentioned that different business models value different things, right? So they have different KPIs that are important to them. So just having a sort of baseline understanding of that is important. But also the business context. So how does analytics fit? And for some businesses, it may not be the most important thing. But for other businesses where their entire business model is based on models, statistical models, or machine learning models, then it is their most important. That they often sort of emphasize. So sort of tech, sort of tech companies would fit into this, or some tech companies would fit into this realm where data analytics is one of their main ways that they compete and survive, right? With storytelling, you want to translate your data insights into narratives. So it's really important in terms of developing that as a skill, or understanding how to communicate results. So visualization obviously helps with that, and also writing helps as well, or so the ability to write helps as well. And when you think about the last two, soft skills, so with soft skills, being able to manage relationships is really important. In addition, problem solving and critical thinking. I really believe that as technology continues to progress and get more sophisticated, the differentiator between professionals is actually going to be their ability to think critically, right? Problem solving, critical thinking. I know it's more of a, I have trouble with it too because it's more qualitative, right? When you think about that, but it's hard to measure. But that's that thinking out of the box mentality is really going to sort of drive, and it's going to be a big need as technology continues to get more advanced. Finally, industry trends with respect to business analytics. Obviously, I just talked about the cloud in the previous module and the importance of that and how adoption is continuing to increase. Also, ethical AI. So there's going to be, I expect, a emphasis on sort of responsible use of AI. So things like making sure that your model isn't biased, right? Or you're not generating biased results. Finally, there's going to be emerging roles, right? So along those lines, I talked about translation. So, a need is going to be where there's going to be professionals required to translate or sort of bridge the gap between data or data teams and decision makers or executives and stakeholders. I also expect there's going to be a larger influence on, looking at the ethical sides and sort of practices around AI that are going to be related in turn to data and analytics. With respect to creative development strategies, yes, networking is still important, right? So it's still important here. So obviously, with social, LinkedIn, but also it might be that you go to various events, right? So conferences that are more analytics focused will be important as well, or even casual meetups, right? Where there's sort of a shared interest in this area could be important in terms of networking. Yeah, so continuous learning. There are a number of certificates. So certain software vendors have certificates that could be useful if that's what your organization needs or uses in terms of that vendor or those tools. There is actually a certified analytics professional certification, and additionally, the last point here is portfolio. So making sure you're developing a portfolio and showing that you have sort of the capabilities. So GitHub, also Tableau Public or Kaggle are good places to publicly share your portfolio. Obviously, there's challenges with that in terms of those data sets being kind of real world, right? There's sort of privacy issues or information that a lot of real companies or real organizations don't want shared, which may be more challenging, but that's another opportunity as well to sort of work with data sets that are publicly available or for public use. So those are my tips, and that would be the end of module 12.